Not all who lived in ancient Rome shared in its greatness. Some had only their speed and wit to survive. These were the thieves, men and women of the shadows. Tonight, we will enter their world and follow one of them. Before we begin, please like this video and subscribe to the channel, so you don't miss more stories like this one. Subura was one of the most infamous districts in all of Rome. The tall apartment blocks were unstable, the alleys were narrow, and the air was thick with the smell of smoke, fish, and sewage. It was here that workers, beggars, and thieves struggled to survive, in a place where even bread often cost more than a day's wages. For many, stealing was the only option left. But those who were caught faced brutal punishments, from public whippings to long imprisonment, or even being thrown into the arena. One evening, as the sun was setting over Capitoline Hill, a young man named Marcus moved silently through the alleys. He knew every stone, every wall, and every hidden path where the guards rarely went. His life depended on small thefts and whatever abandoned items he could find. That night, he spotted a patrician family returning from the baths, their servants carrying baskets filled with wine, bread, oil, and even jewelry. Staying deep in the shadows, Marcus waited for the right moment. Then, with sudden speed, he rushed forward, snatched one of the bags, and vanished into the crowd. Thieves were so common in Rome that the emperors created night watches called the vigiles. These guards were tasked with protecting the city from fires, fights, and theft, and patrolling the streets when darkness fell. But Subura was chaotic, full of narrow alleys and hidden corners, and even the vigiles had to be cautious as they moved through the district. Marcus ran until he almost couldn't feel his legs, but finally he reached a dark courtyard where he carefully opened the bag. Inside, he found jewelry, a small silver bowl, and a bronze seal shaped like an eagle. This was no ordinary item, and for a seal like this could only belong to a senator. Suddenly, a voice spoke from behind him. "You don't know what you are holding, do you?" Marcus turned to see a young woman standing there. Claudia, the daughter of the man he had just robbed. She told him to keep the seal. "My father plans something," she said, "and if it falls into the wrong hands, people could be in danger." Over the next few days, Marcus and Claudia met in secret, careful to avoid prying eyes on the crowded streets of Rome. Marcus was clever, quick, and always alert, but being near Claudia made his heart race in ways he hadn't felt before. Claudia was brave, intelligent, and curious. Her confidence both challenged and inspired him. He followed her father and observing his meetings with senators and officials, while stealing glances at Claudia, admiring how she moved silently through the shadows and her presence calm yet commanding. They moved only at night, when the streets were quieter, but danger still lurked around every corner. Food was scarce and hiding places were few, and every choice could mean life or death. Marcus relied on every skill he had learned in Subura, the city's most chaotic district, and Claudia's guidance made him feel both safer and more alive. With the stolen seal hidden in his tunic, he felt the weight not only of responsibility, but of the trust growing between them. Most Romans lived in insulae, the multi-story apartment buildings that crowded the city. Fires and collapses were common, making life dangerous even for those with shelter. Markets were crowded, and traveling without money or protection could quickly become risky. The poor often relied on cleverness and agility to survive, and thieves like Marcus had to know every street, every alley, every shadow. One night, Marcus waited near an old bridge, tense and alert. Praetorian guards were patrolling the streets, searching for him, and every heartbeat echoed in the silent alleyways. He ran through narrow streets, jumped over walls, and ducked into hidden courtyards, using every skill he had learned. Claudia appeared in a shadowed passage ahead, her eyes wide with concern, yet filled with determination. "You have to leave the city," she said, her voice gentle but firm. Marcus felt a rush of warmth, and something deeper at seeing her, a connection that made the danger sharper and the stakes higher. The seal in his tunic weighed heavy, but so did the trust and feelings between them. He looked into her eyes, and for a brief moment, the chaos of Rome faded, replaced by the quiet understanding of two people who had found each other in the shadows. He whispered goodbye, promising he might return one day, and she watched him disappear, a mix of hope, worry, and something unspoken in her heart. Marcus disappeared into the night, blending seamlessly with the shadows. Thieves like him were common in Sabura, moving unseen through alleys and narrow streets, relying on skill, cunning, and luck to survive. The streets of Rome were alive with danger, yet in the midst of survival, bonds could form, trust, loyalty, and even the beginnings of love. The vigilas patrolled the city, and the wealthy built higher walls, but Sabura remained a place of secrets, where life teetered between risk and reward. Marcus and Claudia had found each other in this world, two souls navigating a dangerous city, their connection a fragile but powerful light amidst the darkness. This was the story of a thief in ancient Rome, a city of narrow streets, hidden dangers, and constant struggle. People survived with cleverness, courage, and sometimes trust and love. Marcus and Claudia's story is one of many hidden in the shadows of Rome.